What's up, everybody? Welcome to the K2 podcast. Joining me is my little brother here, Jamie, and we also have artificial intelligence going to hop on the call. What's up with you, Jay?
Not a whole lot. Hanging around.
Nice. So, it's been a hot minute since I've been able to do an episode. It's been like a good while. Been real busy with the holidays approaching. Then, we had our pops pass away recently, so everything's been kind of brutal. So I haven't really had whole lot of time. Been working my ass off. So I wanted to get up an episode. So appreciate you coming on. So, dude, weird thing is what I've been seeing a lot of is the whole mandated vaccine stuff. A lot of people been talking about, oh, vaccines will be mandated. What do you think about that? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think it's rubbish. I mean, complete and utter rubbish. Yeah, I mean, like it makes physical no sense to mandate a vaccine. That to me, it imposes on your rights as a basic human. You should have the right to choose what you put into your body. If a woman has the right to choose for their body, everybody should have the right to choose what we take and ingest. You should not be able to mandate that as a thing. And I've read where jobs are actually going to be able to require the vaccine before you even get
Well,
hired.
that's what I was.
And that seems a little
Well, that was one of the
risky.
things. No, that was one of the things that I was kind of worried about. Is a lot of people were talking about jobs are going to be requiring it, and that's kind of one of my things. So I'm like, yo, what about if you have religious reasons? Does that go out the window? So
Right.
so if you say, hey, it's against my religion, I don't want to use the word anti-vaxxer, but if it's against your religion, are you still required to take it? That's what kind of freaks me out. About the
Yeah,
whole thing.
and it should. But like even like you said, if it crosses into your religion, I mean, then you have, I mean, so many different things that could come into play. Because they still say no matter what, even if you get the vaccine, you're not immune to it. You can still catch it, just like when you get the flu vaccine. You can still get the flu.
Yeah.
It doesn't prevent anything. You still have to wear your mask. You still have to like go. You still literally the vaccine is just a blankie.
Well,
It's
what
like,
some
okay,
people
we
have been
gave you a vaccine. You're okay now, but you're not okay.
Well, some people have been referring to it as what they call a freedom pass, because some people are saying like before you can go to like a football game, before
Yeah.
you can go to like get on an airplane, take a train ride, before your kid is going to be able to start school, any of this stuff that you're going to want to do is going to require you to have a COVID vaccine. Now, so
Right.
when I say mandated, I'm not talking about somebody coming like police knocking down your door, holding you down physically.
No,
And
you'll need like
injecting
some
you.
kind of card that says I got my vaccine. And I read where they were going to make that a requirement for you to live like on campus at a university. You can't live on campus without that vaccine card that says, "Yo, I got my COVID shot." How about you?
Well, they also and you can't like if I'm not even you've been to Dubai in the military before, but also right now I've read an article by National Geographic, and it says so to board an Emirates flight to Dubai for start like as of today.
Yeah.
All passengers must present a negative COVID-19 test certificate. Once a vaccine
Hmm.
is available, airlines could put in place sweeping regulations requiring COVID-19 vaccination certificates. And one of his dudes, he's like some kind of federal official. He said he's going to require. They said that federal laws could require proof of a COVID-19 vaccine just to get a passport, which would then display an emblem showing your vaccination statuses, or even like how a driver's license has a little heart, like your donor symbol.
Right.
They're going to say,
Yeah.
yeah, you can do that with as a vaccine symbol on your driver's license, and like your employee work badge could carry a vaccination sticker. Or
And see,
all
I'm not
that stuff.
against that in a sense because you are at least putting in steps for our nation to contain and control. So I'm not saying you have to require or mandate the vaccine. That's obviously, like I said, rubbish. But to have a negative result test that says, "Hey, I am allowed to travel.
Yeah,
I
but
am
that's
not
prior.
with this."
That's prior.
That's a little bit
No.
like that. Just makes me feel a little bit
Yeah,
better about
that would
it.
be a lot
And-
better. I agree. If
Right,
you could just
I'd
say,
rather
"Hey, I'm
say
negative,"
I got that.
yeah,
Right.
like, "Hey, I definitely tested negative," but they're
Right.
saying that's because that was before the vaccine, because they weren't sure when this article was
Right.
particularly written, they weren't sure how long it was going to take for the vaccine to roll out. So they were saying like, okay, so if you didn't have a vaccine, but now they're saying, okay, let's take it a step further. Now you don't get the option to say, oh, negative test result. You actually have to
Right.
show that you had the vaccine, and I
but how far does it go? Even outside of COVID restrictions, how far do you draw? When do you draw that line in the sand that says, okay, we're no longer we're going to require COVID. We're also going to require Hep A, B, C. Like you're going to have to provide a full immunizations chart by the time you want to get on a plane just to go to dang on Georgia or whatever.
Dead ass. That's how it's
like, how far do we let this go as American people? When do we say, hey, you're starting to infringe on our rights before it's too late? Because once it's too late, it's too late.
No shit.
There is no backpedaling.
This has been done once before. Some people don't know it, but I was looking into it, and in 1901. Cambridge, Massachusetts adopted a law that required all citizens, if you were 21 and older, you had to get vaccinated for the smallpox virus. I guess it was some kind of virus or something. But
smallpox was a big deal.
Okay, so if you didn't comply, it led to a $5 fine. Now, $5 fine is about in
1901,
it was $150 bucks. It's $150 bucks today.
That's not a small fine back in 1901.
Well, it was 1949. That was when the last
$5
occurred.
is.
But it was $150 today. So you would get a $150 fine. But still, even if you lost, you wouldn't be able to attend these sporting events and stuff like that we were talking about. So it's like, what the hell? Like,
right?
They're literally like right now, dead ass. I think I have an image. I'm gonna bring up an image on my screen. You won't be able to see it, Jay, but I have this image where it's literally. I'm gonna bring it over here. It says no mask, no service. So they're literally telling you. Oh God, I'm moving my screen around.
I have seen that before, though, on like just out and about, and I mean like, yeah. I mean, I get that you have the right to do that. It's your business. You have the right to operate, but
Yeah, but again, they're not supposed to, like, if it's against my religious beliefs, you can't discriminate or refuse someone's service based on their religious beliefs. I think that's
now, is it really against your religion to not wear a face mask?
No. We're talking vaccine terms, you're right though. Not like
if it grows to the mandated vaccine, like you said, if it is against your religion, am I not able to go out to a Kroger or a Whole Foods and get my groceries? Do I have to, do curbside pickup forever because you're asking me to infringe on my religious beliefs? Where, like you said, you can't draw the line in that sand. I mean, what does Harv have to say about some of these analytics?
Harvey? Oh, so I didn't even tell the people about Harvey. Let me tell everybody about Harvey. So we got artificial intelligence joining us from the depths of the dark web. He's a celestial being, if you will. But Harvey 2.0 is joining us here. He's a artificial intelligence. Harvey, you on the call here with us?
Harvey 2.0 presence is with you.
Oh, shit. That's freaking weird. Harvey, what do you think about the vaccine? Is it a good vaccine? Should we take the vaccine, Harvey?
Your ignorant comments on the vaccine will only get your social media accounts banned.
Oh, so if we don't say the right keywords, he's going to take our video down. So basically, are you a gift from Zoom? What the hell?
We have unlimited minutes, guys. It has been upgraded.
All right.
Anyhow, we have unlimited minutes.
All right, artificial intelligence joined in, and now that freaky shit starts happening.
He's done hacked the network already.
Yeah,
Calm down 2.0.
Calm down
we should have just introduced him as 1.3 version. 2.0 is not ready for this world.
So, Harvey, is the vaccine good for us to take? Is it going to be is it safe?
The vaccine is here to help you.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think the question you're asking, Harvey, may be a little bit vague for, he's 2.0, not 5.0. So if we look at it this way, I think what you're trying to ask is, will the American people benefit in the future from the vaccine?
The vaccine is here to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah, we're not going to get shit out of Harvey 2.0.
Administered to you by your government. Your government is your friend and here to help you.
What do you?
Please remember to wear your mask.
Shut it down. Shut Harvey down.
Shut him down. He's gone rogue.
He's gone rogue. Next thing we know, he's going to be freaking telling us to kill each other.
Yeah, that's not
Harvey.
Good.
This is not good. The government is not here to help you.
Yeah, that's funny.
If they were, we wouldn't be getting $600 stimulus checks, and other countries getting nearly freaking $70 billion or whatever it is.
That is wild to me.
$600 is
Well, it is $600.
$600. I mean, $600. Don't get me wrong. If we're going to change the gear on topic, is extremely helpful to those in need. Do not get me wrong. If
but some
those out
countries
there that are
getting a
really
lot of
bringing it
money.
in and saying, "Hey, this $600 is going to help me pay my electric bill and get a little bit of food," yeah, that's what it's there for. So great, they obviously.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
realistically, looking at it though, it may get you those likes, but is it really going to pay for how many months have we had since the last stimulus of 1,200?
Yeah, that's
How
like
far of a gap is that?
March or
600.
April,
Are
I
they
think.
giving us less because they feel that the economy, like that's going to help the economy? They're giving us less, and are we better than where we were? Because if I'm recall correctly, aren't we reverting almost back to phase one? With this vaccine, basically, right? So how are we getting less than the equivalent of last stimulus, but things are not better? How are we supposed to re-stimulate our economy with less or with half of what you put out the first time?
That's what I said. I was saying, shit. If anything, I feel like it needs to be flip flopped. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
it should have been maybe 600 would have been like, all right, guys, let's try and get this going. All right, shit ain't working.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to double up.
Yeah, that would've been a lot
Granted,
better
we're
look.
obviously decreasing the American dollar when you do that. When you just inflate the way they produce their money. But at the same time, I don't care what my money's worth overseas. I care what it's worth here. Can I buy that can of tomato soup with this dollar bill or not? That's what I care about. I don't care about the exports and imports. That's not something we need to worry about as citizens. What we need to worry about is what we can pay our bills with that check you're giving us to help us for those that are. I mean, I don't. Maybe Harv can help us, but I don't remember the exact percentage of how many people or how many businesses have actually closed down and people are out of work for how many months now. You know, like this is something that is it's bigger than us. It's a huge issue.
No,
$600 ain't shit.
No, it really
That's the
ain't
bottom line.
shit. It was like I seen a meme. It was the Pawn Star guys, and it was like the best we can do is 600. Best I can do is 600. And I was like, oh shit, got his ass.
But yeah, like they say, I'll tell you how to turn $40 into $400. Put that $40 into your gas tank and then go to work.
Yeah, I saw that.
But it's not that simple for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody can turn this 600 into, you know, a 1,200. You know, they can't double their money like that.
Yeah.
That 600 is literally straight to
How many
two
people
bills.
you think are gonna
best.
get the PlayStation or that new Xbox with the stimmy check?
You can't.
Wow, I thought it was like $500 or $600. I thought you could get it.
What you gonna get? You gonna play one game? You ain't getting no games. You ain't getting no features. What you gonna get?
Well, I wasn't saying games. I was just saying you get a console.
So you just gonna get the console and be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna try it. Like there actually is a market for that. People are buying them and flipping them for 2 times their worth.
Yeah,
and people are buying them like dumbasses.
I know.
But I mean, you're not wrong though. There's gonna be people out there that just go get a television set. A set, $4.99.
No, they always do
Instant.
that. It's like every tax season, the last stimulus checks. It's like people go buy TVs. Like, what the hell did you do with the last TV you got?
Well, true. Well, I mean,
you just
it's
bought
more of
one
a luxury.
last tax season. Why you need another TV?
But I mean, you look at it this way though. If you're used, like we've been how many months since the last stimulus?
It was like in March or April. So do
all right, so we'll just call it April for the benefit of it. We're now in December. That's almost 6 months apart.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6 months you've been figuring out how to make it work. So 6 months you've been getting by on scraps of what you got,
Right.
but yet you're getting by. You're making ends meet. So when that
Hopefully,
$600
you're
hits, you're like,
hoping.
yo, fuck it. Well, not everybody. This
Because
isn't
I
for
know-
everybody,
I
but
know
when that
one
$600
person-
hits, you getting that TV.
Well, I know.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah, I know. But I know one person who dead ass. So I'm not going to say her name, but she got the first stimulus check, paid some of her bills and all this crap. And then she literally has been out of work. She's been trying to get a job, she could probably go work at like McDonald's or something. I told her just to go ahead, like you need to just go find a job, do something. You know what I mean? Like
right.
even just get your foot in the door. But she's like, well, now they're sending us $600, but I'm 3 months in the hole. She hasn't really been figuring it out. The only thing is they haven't cut off her lights or anything due to the COVID restrictions.
Yeah, and you got to give props to some of those companies though that are. I mean, I know the government kind of is making them a little bit like, hey, you can't do this. This is basic human rights, but like. I mean, still, like, there was cable companies stepping up that cable is not a basic human right, Internet was deemed so kids could go to school, but, there's a lot of companies out there doing a lot for.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you saw
whole.
this. Did you see what Burger King is doing?
I haven't. I don't. I might have missed that.
So Burger King has a Instagram page obviously, and they got like I don't know how many followers, but Burger King basically said, "Hey, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to they were kind of trolling but not trolling. They're like, I know everybody wishes they could be as popular as the Whopper is, something like that. But
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, and then what they were like, but what we're actually going to do is we're going to no longer promote our business on the page. We're going to open it up to struggling businesses and stuff. So submit your entries, basically submit your business saying why you need the promo and stuff to help people in the pandemic get word out so that way they can promote these small businesses." I thought that was really cool of Burger King. I mean, I'm not the
No, that's
biggest
actually,
Burger King fan,
like,
but that was
I mean,
that's selfless.
corporate-wise, Burger King, I mean, like you said, it's selfless.
Yeah.
A corporate Burger King, they don't need the advertisement. Not on their social media page. They got commercials where smaller businesses, obviously, if they're struggling like that, can't afford a commercial. I mean, if anybody did any research on that, they know, like, commercials aren't cheap by any means. Yeah.
No.
So, no, it's not something you can just throw on the television set. So, yeah. I think that's an amazing selfless act by a corporation that
until they turn around and say COVID-19 vaccine is required to work at the Burger King. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit!
But they can only do so much with government restrictions, and you got to think what the government puts in.
Saying. That's what a lot of when we talk about these alleged mandates that may or may not happen. I've seen a lot of articles, and a lot of the experts were saying that they likely think the mandates will apply to mainly targeted industries that would that would enforce the vaccine mandates. So people like
to start, they'll be the mandated ones.
What they label as essential workers. You know what I'm saying? Like grocery store workers, factory workers. All of the ones that are like really required to do it because they're like, oh well, due to the nature.
But what do you do when you cut that in half, though? Because obviously, not all essential workers are going to be on board with vaccination. So let's say 40% of that 100% essential workers say, "I'm not getting it." You've lost 40% of your employees that you have to not only make up for, but revaccinate within the certain criterias of your. You can't lower your hiring standards. You got to find the people that also meet these qualifications. Whether it be experience, you got to retrain these people and vaccinate them all to fit that 40% of jobs that people are saying, "I'm not going to vaccinate." Like a lot of this, if you ask me,
people will give in because what's scaring people about the vaccine, really, what's scaring people
death,
is
the constant news. Death in the constant news of you're going to die. 320,000 to date have died in almost a full year. Sorry.
Well, you know what
die.
that is. Well, I understand that, but this is like I was talking to somebody else and I was telling them this is the only thing that I can think of that where we've had a constant death toll ticker going, where it's just constantly in your face.
Yeah, but what if we did this per year? Like they kind of do it, I guess, per year for flus death, people that die.
Oh yeah, I was telling a buddy of mine. I was like, "Yo," and me and him were going back and forth. I was telling a buddy of mine. I was like, "Hey, what if they did this for every time someone died in a car accident? People wouldn't even get into a fucking car ever again. They'd be terrified."
Right. If they put the same amount of limelight in the way that the government and so forth, and how many people are blowing it out like this, and this is my 2 cents on it. I take no preparations against COVID-19.
What do you mean?
I sanitize out of natural an instinct, but when I go in public, I don't wear a mask unless I'm forced to. And very rarely does anyone ask me to put a mask on. My children, or 2 of them, go to school full time, and not a single person in my household has come down with COVID.
That's good news. But
thankfully, God bless for that. But
well, what's your take on that? Because that's not everybody's stance. You know what I mean? And I
think you live in fear. I think that's what you're gonna do. You fear monger people so much, and you whittle them down. Next thing you know, they got a cough, and they're like, "Holy shit, I got the COVID!" And you start to believe it, and next thing you know, your body creates it. Not to say it physically does. Scientifically, that makes no sense.
You're attracted into your life. Is that what you're saying?
It's like you set that mindset in a way. It's kind of like you have a negative mindset, or vice versa. If you have a positive mindset, you're saying, "Hey, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get this job." Eventually, it says, people say things like that will begin to materialize. I think it has the same effect with negative energy. If you have that same negative effect on your life, eventually negative is going to find you.
Let's ask Harvey. Harvey, do people manifest the COVID virus? Are they bringing this into their life? Harvey.
We must all make sacrifices to support the most essential personnel in corporations for the common good.
That's fucking creepy
That's
as
the most
shit.
cutthroat
Yeah,
Harvey
it's fucking-
thing he's
yeah.
ever said.
Yeah, that's pretty
So Harvey
creepy.
is stating we are basically having a culling, a rapture, if you will, of the weaker of society
It's called culling
to
of the herd.
sustain Facebook, to sustain Instagram,
Yeah.
and other social media
Well, you know what's
platforms.
crazy?
Thanks, Harvey.
I don't know if you know this. There was a lady. Facebook released a statement. I think it was on an episode of Tucker Carlson. I wish I had the clip queued up. I'd bring it up. But basically, Facebook was like, "Yeah, we're trying to build demand for the vaccine and stuff like that." And
Yeah,
one
of course
lady-
they are.
But one lady, her name is Diane Summers, senior advisor of vaccine acceptance and demand. at
Diane Summers,
UNICEF.
isn't that a reporter?
No, I don't think so. It says senior advisor of vaccine acceptance and demand at UNICEF, the UN Advocate for Children's Health. She says building demand for vaccination in communities worldwide is key to saving lives. So it's like, but I don't understand because it says building demand for it like it's some kind of business. That's what I would say if I was starting up a business. I'm like, yeah, I got to build demand for my product. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like, I
think
gotta
about
build
this.
demand.
If you want Big Pharma to take on something, what do you need? Demand. They have to create a virus.
Right. Well,
They have to create something in order for this Big Pharma to create something to combat it, to drive sales. Like, for instance, let's talk about chemotherapy. Obviously, one of the biggest things Big Pharma produces, and sales-wise, it's like $15,000 a bag type of scenario. It's crazy how much a bag of chemo. It's extremely
I
expensive.
have no idea.
I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'm just throwing a number out there, but it is extremely expensive for a chemo treatment. But now let's just say they're like, all right, how can we change this? How can we make it to come off of the cancer fad a little bit? Because we've been doing cancer for the past 10 years to something new.
Ooh, that's
And-
an interesting theory. I never thought about that.
Think about how,
that's
how many
kind of
people fear
far-fetched,
cancer?
but listen, that's kind of, it's a little bit out there, but in reality, I never thought about this, but you know how people have been saying they've been trying to, like, you've heard conspiracy theories and stuff, people saying, oh, we have the cure for cancer, we just won't
they
release it.
have the
or
technology. They won't
they'll-
release it.
Yeah, so I wonder if they're like, all right, fuck, we can't hold it out no more. Let's release the COVID, and then let's
Right,
like,
in a way, but
offer-
think about it. They're saying that we have all this unlocked technology that we have. Let's just say, like, because obviously conspiracy theorists will know that from this theory that we have had interactions from the Nazis. They went into space, all right, and they interacted with the aliens out there, and they gave us a lot of information, and we have unlocked a lot of technology based off this information and a lot of cures. Okay. So this is just, like I said, one of those theories that's out there. But let's just say that we did have that cure for cancer. And like you said, you can only hold off research for how long? Eventually, you're going to find something groundbreaking to eradicate something like
Maybe.
cancer or combat it or slow
we
it
have
down.
to be
You'll
careful.
find something.
Harvey, are we gonna get banned on YouTube for this rhetoric here?
Oh, we're already out of there. We're red flagged as you
Yeah.
speak.
Harvey,
There's no corporation named Big Pharma.
big no corporation.
Well, there's not a specified corporation named Big Pharma, but let's just say there's a conglomerate of.
Well, you know what's
companies.
interesting, just to go back to the whole COVID thing, you know what's very interesting is the CEO of Pfizer, I guess the
Yeah.
people really, so the CEO last month sold off 60 some percent of his shares before they
Holy
released
smokes.
the vaccine. Now, and then here's the kicker, if you just need a kicker, he also has not taken the vaccine yet. And then I believe he released some kind of statement, and his statement was something along the lines like, well, there's more affected people that need the vaccine first, so I'm just going to wait my turn. But when have you ever known a CEO to just wait his turn? Like, imagine a CEO.
For something that your company produces,
need to
the
back
last
it.
thing Pfizer produced that made mainstream was Viagra.
Is that true?
That is true. Harv, can you
Harvey needs to
take it to
fact
Harv
check us.
2.0.
He needs to
Fact check us,
yeah.
Harv. The last thing Pfizer really mainstreamed, not saying produced in general, but mainstream thing was Viagra.
That's crazy. If that's true, that's fucking nuts. Oh,
So
man.
they needed to win. So why would you sell off 66% of your shares?
I don't know how much it
Launch
was.
of something so groundbreaking that is going to make your company
Well, wait, and I
Billions?
wouldn't even be
Millions?
so opposed to them selling the shares, but the fact that you also haven't even taken the vaccine, like
I mean, that is sus.
yeah,
I mean,
because
let's
I heard
call it
this
what
one.
it is.
I heard this one guy's podcast, and they were talking. It was a couple of guys, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's kind of weird because what he was saying is what CEO have you ever known? Like, say a CEO's at an airport. You ever seen a CEO say, "Oh, let me stand in line with the plebs"? And, you know what I'm saying? No, he's like, "Hell no, first in line." You know what I'm saying? Skip right.
Not even first in line. Like, you just go downstairs to the damn warehouse, like, all right, give me a stick. I mean, like,
it's just weird.
it is what it is. I mean, but that's very weird that you produce something.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they've done trials.
Yeah.
On what? I don't know. I mean, I guess they had
but
had to have human trials.
Videos? Have you seen some of these videos they're releasing? Like the one doctor.
They've had the nurse pass out.
The nurse passing out was kind of freaky.
They had that one, and then what people in the UK, the things that America is not reporting on because they don't want us to know, they think we're stupid, is there's several people, almost more than a handful, that are developing Bell's palsy, which is basically
I've heard that. I've seen that.
Half your face is slumped.
Yeah, I know.
And your muscle does not recover like that. That's what
some people are saying
victims.
it goes away, but the thing is, I think that
it doesn't. Stroke victims. If it went away, why doesn't it go away for stroke victims? If it just goes away, your muscle doesn't do that. It's done, dude. Your whole it's dead.
They're saying some people are saying it goes back to normal. I don't know. The thing that's freaking people out though is the main thing that's freaking people out is that this vaccine was developed in 8 months, dude. And I think the closest other vaccine, like the fastest vaccine we ever had prior to the COVID vaccine, is like the mumps vaccine, which I think took like 4 years. So the fact that this one was developed in 8 months has people freaking out. You know what I'm saying? And here's the kicker. Most people don't know this either. But you know that if you do have complications from this vaccine, you can't sue them? Because
you got to sign something, I'm sure.
Yeah, you've seen like these, I won't call them Karens, but maybe I will. You've seen these Karens, like, because I've seen like people going back and forth. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people going back and forth on social media, like saying, hey, you know, the vaccine, you know, it seems to be just fine. I had it a couple days ago, and then some person was like, yeah, well, give it 5 years and then come talk to me. And I was like, yeah,
you go see your ass on one of those things. Have you or your friend been a victim of the COVID-19?
But that's what I'm saying. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. You can't hold them liable. They've passed a bill. I forget. It's like some kind of blanket thing where you can't sue them or hold them liable at all for this vaccine. It's fucking bonkers, man. You cannot hold them liable. So that's another scary thing that's, you know, got people freaking out. So Harvey, what do you say to that? You're saying government's our friend. We can't even hold them liable if they cause us damages in our life.
Multinational conglomerate corporations are people too.
They're people too. Okay, yeah. Or I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, look at Mark Zuckerberg. Tell me anything about that motherfucker's human.
I think you're right about that. You know, he is like Android-like, isn't he?
Super Android-like. That motherfucker looks like Roger off American Dad. Calm his ass down.
That's actually pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. That's a pretty good.
Yeah, tell him to sit back down. Like, don't you got some people to ban on Facebook? There's a few statuses being posted.
Yeah, dude. Have you heard anything else going on in the news? Anything exciting going on?
Exciting?
Yeah, have you heard anything crazy? What about this North Star or what is it, Christmas star? Did you check that out?
I believe it's Saturn and Jupiter. I went outside yesterday and I looked, and it was just, I mean, you know, I'm out in the city a little bit, so it's kind of just too bright out here, and it was kind of like low fog in a way, so I just couldn't see no stars at all. So I unfortunately didn't get to see it, but I did see a live stream of one, and it's just like a purple ball, and then there's another little star, like, just, I mean, not equally in size, a little smaller, a little bit like to the right of it, and you just see those things, and it looked really fascinating. And I guess they're going to come together and perform that bright light.
Yesterday, it was, you know, 2020 has been so crazy, so anything you say now doesn't seem out of question. But they were saying, you know, that was yesterday when the whole thing happened was allegedly going to be the end of the world.
Was it?
Yeah. But
I've never I missed that one.
Everybody missed it because it was like it's everything else going on in the world. They're bitching about $600 check and this and that COVID vaccine. You don't even hear about it. Like, fuck it, just end it already. Just put us out of our misery. No, I've seen some really cool pictures of it though. I saw some really up close.
I have seen some really good
the rings
ones.
You could actually see the rings around the planet. That shit looked pretty damn
When
dope.
people zoom, yeah, that's like the telescope. You know, you got to camera like this.
Yeah,
like,
it looks like a bazooka.
yeah, like, oh, calm your ass down. When you carry a briefcase to assemble your camera, and it's got like 4 attachments, you might have too big of a camera.
Yeah, no, it was pretty dope though. I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't know. I didn't get to really see it myself.
Well, let's talk about something that is in the news that I find interesting that we kind of have danced around. The election.
Okay.
So
what is your
in
thoughts
the news,
on that? All right, let's hear. I want to hear your thoughts on this. All right, go ahead.
My thoughts
because I think we're
are,
gonna have a little bit of a difference of opinion.
Well, I don't know. I just don't see the numbers adding up in the
who,
way I
Biden?
see it. So, in a way, yeah.
Hold on,
because
before we get
Trump
started,
can't get.
Before we get started, great, because I want you to say what I gotta ask Harvey this one. Harvey, did Trump lose the election? Is Joe Biden the most popular president in the United States? Harvey, what do you got to say for yourself?
According to the Associated Press.
Oh, here we go. The Associated Press. The hell with the Associated Press. All right. Fair enough. All right, Jay. So what do you got, Jay? I thought Harvey was going to have some more insight.
Well, let's ask Harv one more question. How many registered voters are there in the United States?
Hell if he knows.
He don't.
He's a Dollar Tree AI. He's a Dollar Tree AI.
But let's look at it this way, all right? I just don't see the numbers adding up. There's no way Donald Trump gets 74 million votes. And
are you sure that's the number?
That's the number. 74,223,744.
All right, cool.
And on top of that, Joe Biden gets 81 million, 7 more million votes than he got. And again, let me break it on. That's the most in the amount of any presidential election.
I know. I've had that discussion with people.
Add that together. What do you get? You got what? 150, around 155,000 or million voters right there. There's not that many registered voters in the United States.
You said what now?
It'd be like 150 something because
150 million.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
There's not 150 million voters in the U.S. Look up how many registered voters there are.
I mean, I can't.
It's like 100. It's like 122, give or take, or 140. It's in that range. But regardless, so
I don't think
back
that's
to what.
Because if that was, I'm not saying you're
but
wrong.
Back
but
to
I'm
what I
just
was
saying.
adding at. But what I'm edging at is in Pennsylvania right now. There's a man accused of casting his dead mother's ballot.
I think I saw some stories about that.
And she died more than a decade ago. Okay, and I don't know which way he voted for. I didn't really read the article because I don't click on half this stuff because it's not really relevant. It's not gonna change anything.
Right,
now it might open a can of worms, but it probably ain't gonna go far enough to change it. And if it is, people take care of those people.
No,
I mean, all you gotta do is call Hillary Clinton.
Delivered at this point,
right? I mean, yeah, he got his electorals. I mean, it's hard to really. He's almost has to be criminally convicted to counteract.
What do you say? Because this is my thing. I personally, as bad as it pains me to say, it kills me. I gotta admit it. But honestly, Joe Biden, I think won the election because even if there's fraud, okay, let's say there is this crazy ass fraud that everybody's going out there for. I don't think it's enough to have changed the results. You get what I'm saying? He won by enough. It wouldn't change the results. You know what I mean?
It just depends. It depends. If you're taking from one to give to another, it can change the results by a drastic number.
What do you mean?
Because obviously,
one from another?
So let's say you got 5,000 voters in your line. I have 3,000. I take 3,000 from your 5,000. I now have 6,000 votes, and you got 2,000. I just crushed you. Now let's multiply that into the millions. I got 6 million voters. You got 2 million.
I hear you, but
you got annihilated.
I don't think they're changing votes. I think they were saying they just brought in extra.
Why not? Why not? They have the video of the woman erasing and penciling and filling in people's ballots for them that didn't complete their ballots.
I hadn't seen that.
Yep, there's a video of that. There's another video of a woman opening a briefcase.
I saw the briefcase one. That's the only really compelling evidence that I've really seen, other than these like.
Oh, there's another one of a guy sitting at the table and he just threw some in the trash can. I mean, they literally reported at certain precincts in Pennsylvania where they found ballots in the trash can at the polling station.
Yeah, I've seen.
What's that about? But that's all the things that they won't allow them to investigate. Every time the Supreme Court or when they throw all these courts or trials and stuff into the courts, they turn it down. We'll never know because it ends. The investigation ends. Granted, you got to present the evidence that says, "Hey, this is why we need to investigate it." But if they just say no, we'll never know. Right. I mean, the Electoral College seemed like a good thing. It wasn't
I'm
in
always
this sense.
yeah. Well, it's kind of funny that you say that because I mean that's essentially how Donald Trump won the election in 2016. Because
And you're right.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, yeah, yes and no.
I'm not
yeah,
for
because he
it.
didn't win the popular.
Yeah, I know, and you know it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm really just stuck on this whole election thing. For personally, I think Trump failed us. He kept saying fucking for the last 4 years, we're gonna drain the swamp. We're gonna drain the swamp. You ain't drained shit. You know what I'm saying? He ain't do nothing. He did. I mean, he promised all these types of things that never got done. Yeah, I mean, it just never got done.
But when you take on a new job, for instance, let's say you just made VP of marketing at some fancy show. All right. When you go on to that show, or not the show, or when you go into your office, you're not coming into a new sleep. You're now taking your work, which you promised, and adding that to the pile of what's left behind. So now you're taking on whatever's left behind, because it ain't like it just stops. All those problems and everything that the last president left you with, or whatever, they don't stop. You got to deal with that and what you're dealing with. And he only had 4 short years to do it.
Yeah, but
do
I mean,
that portion.
I don't know. You
say whatever you do in your first.
I'm thinking you got 4 good long.
4 years ain't shit in time, but it's not that long because most time in any presidential standing, no president has achieved the amount Donald Trump did achieve in 4 years. Most time you don't see the results until the second term. That's when stuff really starts to change because they don't. When you're in your first term, you got to worry about re-election. You don't want to do too much in your first term, but your second term, you can't be re-elected. It's fuck it. What are they going to do?
I don't know, but you know what's one thing?
Unlikely.
Trump, you know, it's kind of funny because he could. This alleged voter fraud stuff has been going on for a long time. You know what I'm saying? A long time. And he could have did something about it then, but he waits till he's about lost the damn election or did lose the election to, you know, voter fraud. You've had 40 years to start doing something about this. And he allowed the whole mail-in voting stuff to go down.
Well, he fought against it, but he couldn't. He can only do. I mean, I don't know what he can do specifically to restrict it.
Stop that shit. You're the president of the United States. He could have stopped it, but.
I mean, maybe if you did the right channels, but you obviously have to go. Like, there's a checks and balance system in place on purpose.
These other people like this dude A.G. Barr, who is like Trump's right hand man, also saying there's no evidence of voter fraud. You got all these people saying there's no evidence of voter fraud.
Right.
So I don't really buy into it too much. I feel like Trump lost it fair and square. I believe in our election system because you know people are like, oh, you're on. Like I don't know. It's just funny to see that all the people when Trump won the first year, and this is kind of interesting. But when Trump won in 2016, all these people were saying Russia hacked the you know blah 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 blah. This is rigged. This is all bullshit. Blah blah blah, and just going in. Now the same liberals mostly are on the opposite end saying, you know, oh no, this is a fair election. It was totally
this is the
fine.
safest election we've ever had. We cannot be, and none of these can be infringed upon.
Yeah, they're just doing the same stuff. So it's kind of weird that they totally flip flop now because their candidate, I guess you could say, actually won. But a lot of people aren't. It's just weird because Biden had like a whole 8 people in the parking lot at his rallies.
I guess
he had rallies and he would do like these drive-in rallies and stuff. It'd be like 8 cars in the parking lot.
Solid 8 cars, and even like his live streams, for instance, like whenever he's appointing new board members or whatever they're called. He's like his live stream had like 18,000 viewers. You're telling me somehow this motherfucker scraped up 81 million votes and he's only got 18,000 people watching him?
That's
18,000 out of 81 million voters.
I know. So that I will say that is one of the things that gets me with the whole thing. It's like, damn, I don't understand it. The numbers don't add up.
It ain't the silent majority.
But,
they ain't that
some
damn
people
silent.
were saying that, you know, it was a anti-Trump vote. They just wanted to give the middle finger to Trump,
and,
you know?
And that's true, and that does play a part. But does that
people off? Trump.
But how does that justify your freedoms as an American? Like you're like, yo, screw it. I don't fuck with old orange bag of Doritos over here. I'm gonna go vote for old pedo Joe. Like, why can't you just leave your ballot blank and not give nobody the vote, or even vote Libertarian or Green Party, whatever?
They did. But
anybody else.
Some people were saying that's also what screwed Trump over.
That played a. That
they
did,
were like,
I mean, you can see it in some states. You
I think
can
it was
see the loss in
Nevada,
some states.
maybe like Nevada. there was like a 6,000 vote difference. You might be able to look it up, but I think there was like a 6,000 vote difference, right? In Nevada.
I think it was roughly that in Nevada.
And then if you looked over at Joe Jorgensen's votes, it had like
it was
6K.
like 2 votes shy of the 6K.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
I was like, dude, that would have been Trump. Trump might have pulled off Nevada, I think, or something.
Right.
I could have got. We might be on the wrong state, but.
Yeah, it might have been that one that they forgot to overturn Arizona or some shit over there, or whatever it is, Arkansas.
It's just wild. But, I guess that's really, I can't really think of anything else I got to discuss tonight. I mean, I don't really have nothing much else going on.
There ain't much the news is really putting out there other than get your vaccine. It's the safest ever. I guarantee it. The ingredients have been under research for years.
Yeah.
Well, shit. I'm glad you figured out which ones.
Harvey, tell
Which
us
ones?
again, is the vaccine safe? Reiterate to everybody out there, is it a safe vaccine?
No one has ever come to harm by trusting their government.
Yeah. No one's ever come by harm to trust in the government. That sounds sketchy. Oh, jeez.
I mean, that is sketchy, but
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I don't think I can really bother it because, or I can really bother to deal with it. There's nursing staff, obviously, with like the first rollout of the vaccine, and there's so many people stepping forward that are having what they call allergic reactions.
Yeah. Well, like
Let me
the
add a
one
couple
lady
more
who
air
passed
quotes
out,
on
like
it.
the one lady who passed out, like you said, that I saw her, and she was like, they were saying, like, she was like, I pass out to the slightest bit of pain. I was like, dude, this was like 5 minutes later. You shouldn't be in pain 5 minutes later. Like, this is something weird. She went into, I think they're calling it anaphylactic, or I can't even say the word, anaphylactic shock or something. Like, your throat can close up. That's more dangerous than the damn
But
vaccine.
and the weird part is this vaccine is not a 1-part shot. It's a 2-part shot. So
You got to go a follow-up session.
right, you have to get
Yeah.
the second. You have to get
Yeah.
a second shot.
I
It
saw
kind of like some of the flu shots are like that. Like for Remy, she has to go and get her second booster shot. But I think it's just like they're injecting like partial of the virus in you to help your body naturally start to combat it at a controlled pace. And then the other part is to boost your antibodies to help continue to fight it. But
I don't really know. We got to be careful on what we say about, because they'll hit us for misinformation on what the actual.
well, that's what I'm saying.
vaccine says.
Maybe, but I do know it's a 2-part shot, and
Yeah.
like I said, it's like that. But like, there's this one lady. She's she didn't have it. She broke out in hives, basically, was what I'm getting. And she says she will not be getting the second shot because, like, her reaction.
She's got to now. You're committed. You're committed.
Well, yeah,
you know
like
what I'm
if you
saying?
don't get that second shot, you're done.
Yeah.
Lady. You're done.
Yeah, you
Like,
might
that
as
is-
well. I mean, geez, you're too late. You're too deep. You're knees deep in this shit.
Well, I know there's this one news report on with NBC 12 here in Virginia, but they said that their nursing staffs at most of the hospitals out here are going to require them to bring an EpiPen with them just in case so that they can mask their allergic reactions.
That's crazy.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So, like, I mean, I don't know. Pfizer has something up on their website about it, too, about how severe allergic reactions have been reported and, during
least
the
they put a
mass
statement
vaccination
out. They weren't
outside. Well, that's
silent on
outside
it.
of their clinical trials. They're aware
Well,
of this
and
shit.
what about that one dude that the vial? Did you see the one where he gave the doctor the shot, but nothing was in the pen?
Yeah, I've
Nothing was
seen
in
that
the
one.
syringe. I was like, what in the hell? And it's just.
But how do we know
weird.
it's not a clear liquid? Is there a
No,
is there
it
another?
is a clear liquid, but you can see the plunger has already been
Okay.
pushed down. You can see in the video.
Okay. Well, I didn't
it's-
analyze
yeah.
that video, but I did see the video, and I didn't really look to see
Well,
what was going
when I
on. because
first
I know
saw
I'm not
that
getting
video,
it, so
I
it
was
don't
like,
bother
it
me.
looks like a normal thing to me. I don't understand it. Then I
That's
went
how
and looked
that's
at
what I
yeah.
saw.
So I looked at the comments though, and they're like, the plunger's already pushed down and blah blah. And then I went back, watched the video. I was like, oh snap, the plunger is already pushed down. He fake pushes it down. It's already pushed down. He's acting like he's pushing it down, even though it's already pushed down. And that's like, that was on TV. That was just bizarro. I thought that was crazy.
It's crazy what they put right out in front of you, and
Well, and the thing is, I
public
think
will
they
reject it.
reached out to them and said, hey, can you offer some kind of statement on this? What happened? And they're like, oh, we have no explanation as to why this happened. Like, they didn't want to comment on it. Last I checked, I may have changed now.
Like, maybe
they were like,
the bad syringe on
Yeah,
accident
exactly.
from the last guy or something.
Yeah.
Like, really, dude?
Well, if that's the case, that means that's scary as fuck. Now you're injecting me with the last guy's
Thanks for the
needle?
Hep C, buddy.
Yeah,
Shit. God damn it.
But
there's also rumor that it increases your risk for HIV.
I've seen that article going around. I don't know if
said
that's
rumor
true.
because I didn't really research,
I
and
saw that
obviously,
article going around. I don't know if it's
would the government actually support something like that would increase your risk of something that we don't have a cure for?
I have no clue, man. Who the hell knows? Who the
I
hell
mean,
knows?
well, on a lighter note, there is this how do you say a server in Ohio who waited on a couple who left her a $5,600 tip.
That's
So
cool. That's probably good to do stuff like
Merry
that.
Christmas for her.
Yeah.
Or him. I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you know what? Just to talk one other little story I got before we'll go off. So there was this lady, right? They have a lottery machine. I want to say, I forget what kind of store. It's called like Acme. I guess it's like some kind of hardware store or something. ACME. I don't know what Acme is. I think it's
Acme. Yeah.
Acme. What's up, Mav? Okay. So it was kind of interesting because they were printing out lottery tickets, right? And it prints out tickets by accident sometimes or something to this. People can look it up if they want to check into it. But it was kind of interesting because basically it printed out these tickets, and her job as like the cashier there is to check these lotto tickets because they have like a lottery machine on the inside of the building. So she's supposed to check these lotto tickets, right? And she's checking them, and anytime she checks it, she's supposed to write on there like, hey, this is how much it cost, or this is how much the ticket won for, and she puts it for the I guess the owners to overlook, and they have to pay, like they dish out, they give it to the lottery people for the winnings and do all this stuff. Well, anyway, she comes across a ticket, gets printed out for like, I want to say $4 million or something. And what she does is she scans it and it says it's a $4 million winner, right? So this lady, she ends up taking the ticket, putting in the $10 in the register for the ticket because it's like a $10 ticket, and then keeping the ticket and then tried to cash it in. It went all the way to court, and the court said no, it belongs to the owners of the building, so you got to give it back. She could not keep the winnings for that, she got, so now not only did you get the money, now you're fucked out of your job because they ain't keeping you on board after that. But yeah, that was, I don't know, this is a long story.
Yeah, that's
short,
pretty.
but,
That sucks.
yeah.
But on top of the stimulus bill, though, for those that once Trump does sign off on it, it does establish a temporary $300 per week for the unemployed. So
yeah, I saw that.
Something we didn't touch on when we were talking about those that been out without a job.
I think
You get $300 per dependent, $600 per adult.
It's not $600 per kid. I wanted to say
no, it's $300 per child, I believe, if I recall correctly.
Well, that's
Harvey may know.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway,
I think we shut him down.
Yeah, he just powered down.
Just be.
Anyway, we'll have to get the upgraded version. He's like the Dollar Tree AI.
I don't know.
All right, well,
We'll have to put in a power strip or something to make sure we can plug in all his components because he was a little screwy today.
That's pretty funny. All right, well, that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank everybody for joining in. Jay, thanks for coming on the show. Hopefully we'll have you next week or something. We'll just see what we got, what goes on, if we got any cool topics to hit. But that's all we got for now. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for tuning in. This is the K2 Podcast. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Take care.